This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath on the map Ice Arena for this 2v2. Featuring in the south, the green team playing the vanilla Skrin. This is Pennywise. Playing the green black hand, this is Hulk. Meanwhile, on the north side of Ice Arena, we have the blue team. Representing the GDI, it's Phoenix. And as the Marked of Kane, this is UnderworldFox. Which I recognize all of these names except UnderworldFox, so I don't know if that is just a smurf that I am unfamiliar with or what, but the other three guys we've definitely seen before. We've got a little GDI Marked of Kane action in the north, two very powerful factions. And by the way, this is 1.02 plus R21. So we're over here on R21H. We're about to release, Master Leaf is about to release R22. So that should be coming out very, very soon. Lots of fresh changes to the game. Most notably, the reverse move fix. The reverse move bug fix is implemented, which is very exciting to see. But back here, these guys are basically time travelers. Hulk and Pennywise representing Skrin and Blackhand, also two very powerful factions. So I feel like this lineup, GDI Marked of Kane versus Skrin Blackhand, we have a ton of very powerful options. Maybe Blackhand is perhaps a little bit weaker in the late game, but honestly, if you play the early game right, you still have a very powerful late game. In the combination of Skrin, you got those tripods, you've got Phase, you've got the Eradicator, you've got the Stasis Shield. There are just so many options to help you out as the Black Hand player. So I feel like both teams have extremely powerful combinations, and maybe GDI is the most straightforward, strong faction, but Marked of Kane, Skrin, Blackhand, all very strong in their own rights. No early game aggression from anyone. It's closing in on the 3-minute mark, and it's really just scouting units crossing the map. We've got a couple of APCs packed with rocket squads. 3 APCs. Where are the Pitbulls? Okay, they're there. They're a little bit far away, but they are headed for those APCs. They're going to meet up and I'll go for an attack somewhere. It does look like Phoenix is heading south. He's got the scouting rifleman in the north, and then all of his units have headed to the south. So they'll get there eventually. It's just going to take them a little while to actually link up. UnderworldFox is turning his units around. He's going to try and re-engage. Photon Cannon is here. First Harvester is also here from Hulk, so we'll have to see, or from Pennywise, so we'll have to see if he's able to defend those. Hulk shows up with 5, 6, 7 bikes, at least here, as he pops these APCs one after the other. Phoenix not able to eject or drop mines, neither one, which means these APCs are just going down, not quite for free because the bikes are getting tagged, but this is a fantastic defense here by Hulk and Pennywise to shut this down. It's a little bit more bloody and a little bit more messy as Fox comes in with his reinforcements, gets a couple of kills, and he shuts down those bikes from Hulk. Buggy does die on exit. Ooh, and that rifle squad from earlier, the second scouting rifle squad, deploys the foxhole and gets a bike as it's trying to escape. Fox has reformed his front line. A couple of pit bulls are here. I'm not sure that the pit bulls are really going to be what holds down the fort, but more and more pit bulls are crossing the map. A couple of Predator tanks, as well as Phoenix gets his natural expansion up and running. Both teams happy to let the first 3 minutes elapse without too much fighting, but now it is just constant fighting back and forth. The rockets from both sides getting close to launching at each other, but not quite finding the opportunity. Refineries are here. 2 refineries on these fields as Hulk rebuilds and then heads on south. Fox may find an angle here, but there's 3 photon cannons here defending these harvesters. There's many photon cannons as there are harvesters in this game. and Phoenix has bought himself a lot of time. I feel like he's the one area of the map that hasn't been attacked just yet. Although I guess Fox's natural expansion also hasn't taken much damage either. A couple of bikes going to be getting some shots against these gunwalkers. Free repairs right here on the front line, and of course the photon cannon is also here. Hulk ready to engage with this decoy army, absorbing a couple of shots here as the War Factory will go down. A great kill there by Phoenix and Fox, managing to shut down that front line production as the radar jamming missile fires off, and a couple of pit bulls will get eliminated in the north. Rocket squads find their mark, but a tripod is here for the defense at the natural expansion. Hulk and Pennywise, they have held off these attacks, but one tripod with no backup may not be enough. A photon cannon is here, but the phase will save that tripod, and now a second War Factory is now online right here on the front line. Hulk sends forth his army. He is green, he is angry, and he is ready to go. The bikes are going to try and dive on top of the harvester. It's going to cost the bikes a bit of their life, but they do get the harvester, a blue Tiberium harvester, gated or headed towards the Phoenix gate, but he just doesn't make it. Phase on that gunwalker will allow it to absorb lots of damage as Hulk and Pennywise push back Team Blue. The nice thing is for Phoenix and Fox, they have been able to set up their expansions, tech up, keep all of the pressure on the other side of the map, not worry about defending their own infrastructure back at home. Income is looking pretty close. Phoenix leading the charge with 15K per minute. Nice snipe on that tripod. Catches the tripod sort of out in the open. He's got that TIB core upgrade on those missiles. Stealth tanks and attack bikes being that much more powerful. One of the advantages for Marked of Kane versus Blackhand is Blackhand has no stealth. So Marked of Kane, you've got those stealth harvesters, you've got the stealth tanks as well, and we've seen how many times stealth tanks can turn a game on its head. But to be fair, a Redeemer can turn a game on its head as well. We've seen that from time to time as well. Rifleman in the north, keeping an eye on Hulk. It is turning into Marked of Kane versus Skrin in the south and GDI versus Blackhand in the north. Redeemer about halfway done for Hulk. Eradicator Hexapod, I assume, is close as well. Is there no Eradicator Hexapod? Whoa, no Warp Chasm here for Pennywise. A bit of a surprise. Sniper teams get deployed. Always a good choice versus Blackhand. Although the man spam really isn't that crazy in this case. There isn't that much going on in terms of infantry on the right side of the map. Sniper team's still going to be able to clear out these charged particle beam Cabal squads with their Black Disciples. That's a dead Redeemer. That engineering facility was slated for death, and Phoenix, he's not going to be able to help defend down in the south, but he has got this attack going on in the north. He really does need railguns. He's got AP ammo, he's got Shatterers, he's got Pit Bulls, but he doesn't have railguns. He is going to be able to knock down that obelisk, clean it up. Stasis locks down this Redeemer in the south. It's going to be the tripods going for the EMP. They do manage to lock it down a second time, and the Awakened squads are good. The EMP lands, but it's going to be the tripods that are still out of range, and the Redeemer's so low on health. Meanwhile, back on the north side of the map, it's going to be railguns and a mammoth tank rolling up to this front line. The MCV is not long for this world as it has been eliminated, and Hulk falls to pieces on the front line. But what does he have behind that? It's mostly just harvesters unprotected by stealth as the Redeemer gets eliminated. And the Vertigo Bombers chase away everything else. But UnderworldFox has been defeated. taps out there, and that feels a lot more like a disconnect than an actual GG there, as Phoenix now gets handed everything from the GDI and Mark of Kane side of the map. Shockwave Artillery going to be catching a number of these bikes, eliminating a couple of them and locking down that War Factory, buying additional time for these Predators and these Mammoths to hold the line, but they are not going to be able to stand up against the overwhelming firepower of Hulk, who's got that Black Hand firepower, able to burst down those GDI units. Phoenix now has the full arsenal at his disposal, and he does have another Redeemer on the way. He's got a control in the north and the south. It's a 2v2 in terms of economy and production, but it's a 1v2 in terms of how many sets of hands do you have to actually control everything. UnderworldFox leaving Phoenix in about as good of a position as you could ask for with a 2v1 situation. Railguns all finished up. Vertigo bombers coming in. They should be able to clear up some of these shields on these tripods. And the tripods just kind of going for the MCV there. We'll see what they actually manage to do. I'm not sure what the point of this attack was, but it is going to be getting jumped on by everything that Phoenix has. Pennywise sends out his army, and he gets a couple of harvesters, but he leaves behind a couple of tripod husks, and the Venoms may be getting cleaned up here, but Phoenix has 3 tripods that are in prime position to be taken. He can just go and capture those husks. He really does need shredder turrets or watchtowers to help clean up this infantry army. Snipers would also be a fantastic choice. And the husks will be cleared. Pennywise not going to be leaving that on the table. Phoenix losing this refinery into the north, but he's finally got the supercharged particle beam shredder turrets out onto the front line. And actually, the Black Hand squads aren't in range. It's just the rockets peppering this refinery with a little bit of damage. It's not even doing very much as the Rage Gun fires off. And down here in the south, Pennywise has brought his MCV, but he's getting EMP'd as well. And it's going to be the Hammerheads showing up. Where's the anti-air? It's plasma missile batteries, and it's lagging behind the front line as another tripod goes down, another extremely low on health as that Tib trooper slows the tripod to a crawl, and the Redeemer stomps on the husk. It's going to be plasma missile batteries with the shard launcher upgrade, cleaning out those Venoms. And as soon as Phoenix gets an inch to breathe in the north, Pennywise comes into the south and starts hammering away at this base. Another Devastator warship gets eliminated. Pennywise opening up an opportunity for Hulk to attack, but the economy has dried up. On the right side of the map, there's hardly any Tiberium. Well, there's hardly any Tiberium anywhere on the map, but the team on the right side is splitting that extremely small amount of Tiberium between 2 players trying to manage 2 sets of units. Meanwhile, Phoenix, everything goes into one single bank account. Pennywise is going to have to retreat from the front line, running out of steam, but he will clean up the husks as he hasn't found the actual angle to engage on Phoenix with. And everything is just going to slow down a little bit here, as all players will take a bit of a breather. It would kind of be great if there was a something on this island. I guess it would be not great for Skrin, any of the Skrin factions, but you've got these 2 platforms out there on the water and nothing to really do with them. Phoenix making use of that stealth. Again, this is sort of the best case scenario for a 2v1 situation. Phoenix and Fox both had established economies, a lot of upgrades already purchased, fully fleshed out tech trees. I mean, he even had the Redeemer engineering facility, or at least he could get it up very, very quickly. Pennywise hoping to re-engage. Hulk and Pennywise, they are not striking together. They have been striking separately, and now Hulk has overspent. He's spent all of his cash, and he has virtually nothing left, it seems. Maybe a couple of attack bikes, maybe a couple of rocket squads as well. And Pennywise is going to try and move in, so it's all about holding the line. Phoenix needs time to regroup everything and bring everything online, as these Devastator warships will be able to burst down those refineries, cleans up the refineries, and Phoenix now needs to cut off the reinforcements. He has not been able to capture any of these husks. He's got avatars, he's got mammoth tanks here, and a supersonic airstrike comes in as well. The Devastator warships will not be stopped as they clean out the war factory, they clean out the power plant, the secret shrine, and the operations center. Everything gets leveled in the expansion of Phoenix. Hulk finally finding a couple of units to try and engage with this fight as the bikes and the buggies swing in, cleaning up a refinery, trying to cut down those harvester numbers in the north. And Phoenix keeping his units underneath those Devastator warships. Hulk stepping out into the middle of the map. It's mostly infantry. He's got these cheap, low-tech units, early game units that he's going to try and run down his opponent with. A couple of harvesters making their way into the back line, and tripods getting crushed, quite literally stomped on by this stealthed Redeemer who ranks up, gets himself a veteran rank, but no stopping those Devastator warships. That's up to the pit bulls and the anti-air defenses. That's up to the bikes as they try and target down these Devastator warships, stop the bleeding from this Skrin air artillery. One last shot. These bikes and these pit bulls bringing everything that they have against the Devastator warship, and the pit bull just needs a couple of extra shots. And will he actually be able to get it, as Phoenix is unable to stop that Devastator with that first wave of anti-air defenses? Phoenix trying to reposition around the blue Tiberium. If he's able to control the Tiberium, he stands a much better chance. The Lightning Spike and the Devastator warship have finally gone down. The GDI side of the tech tree has been untouched, but the Marked of Kane side of the tech tree has been devastated by that attack. The MCV still exists. A power plant still exists. Harvesters still bringing in cash. Hulk and Pennywise barely between the two of them, staying ahead of the income of Phoenix. Phoenix has more cash in the bank. The 6K float he can now put to good use now that things have calmed down a little bit here, and he has some serious parking lot problems going on outside of his harvesters. Hulk, Pennywise sending their harvesters out, just letting them auto-harvest and cross the map as they get sent here and there and everywhere. Phoenix, he's found himself a nice little corner of the map to hole up in. Orca Strike comes in, gets some nice vision out on out on the map. I think he also tagged this harvester a decent amount as well. Airfield low on health. MCV managed to survive. Mammoth tanks still being produced by Phoenix. Decent number of tripods are here as well. Hulk and Pennywise. So little cash to go between them. And even though they have a total resources gathered which far outstrips Phoenix, so much of that money has already been wiped off of the map. It's not like they have an active amount, that kind of cash actively moving around the map. They probably have a tenth of that. Harvester gets tagged. He's trying to get that blue Tiberium. Phoenix trying to make every harvester count, and instead he just loses one basically for free. Hulk and Pennywise starting to take back control of the map. Phoenix has been a formidable opponent, but they would like to close this game out once and for all. I like the sneaky drone ship into the south, and Phoenix has actually got a couple of zone hammerheads going to be able to push away these tripods. Doesn't get any kills, but stops them from doing any more damage. Drone ship deploying in the south. The pit bulls have not identified this, although there is also an awakened squad there, so potentially an EMP will help slow down anything that shows up in the southeast. Portal. Okay, this is definitely in range of Phoenix. He sees it now. The engineer gets sniped, and okay, the engineer steal is not going to happen. No such luck for Pennywise. He's not going to have anything that easy. And Phoenix not actually moving to engage anything. Pennywise extremely low on cash, still just existing with these harvesters and refineries. You get in a place where you definitely don't want to just send your harvesters off to die, but sometimes we will see players group their harvesters off of the Tiberium fields and start a little Tiberium field rotation. It takes more time, but if you can let the Tiberium field regrow, you get more cash than if you harvest it constantly, if you keep it all the way harvested. And it's easier to let it regrow if instead of having 4 or 5 or 6 harvesters each getting 1/5 or 1/6 of the load of Tiberium, if you just have 1 or 2 harvesters getting full loads of Tiberium. And it does take a little bit more effort to send them around, but if after 5 minutes you'll be up in total resources gathered from where you would have been. Bike's moving away. Hulk could have smashed this base. He could have shut this down. He would have had to have bursted that mammoth tank, but more reinforcements are coming in. Hulk would have been able to just brush away this southern expansion, but this is kind of Pennywise's section of the map. This is a decent number of attack bikes. With that Tib-Core missile upgrade, they can burst down targets. You don't want to stick in the damage for too long. They will be able to knock down, they get half the health of that mammoth tank just by attacking the harvester. The harvester gets popped and the mammoth tank is down to half HP, basically in one volley. 2 mammoth tanks plus a juggernaut showing up. Pennywise is now in an awkward situation. He might have to throw these tripods in forward to save the drone ship. Oh, he doesn't! He tries to lift off, and that is why you do not lift off around mammoth tanks. The EMP whiffs. These tripods may be able to escape. Okay, Pennywise does have a gravity stabilizer, so he can rebuild. He has his tech, so he's not worried about that. He doesn't have an Eradicator or a Warp Chasm, so he can't build an Eradicator or Hexapod. It's a bit of an unfortunate situation that Pennywise never got that. Bike's going to be rolling through, but this is a lot of railguns that they're contesting with. They do manage to clean up one of the hammerheads, but they don't get the other, and Hulk just rolls through the base, losing so much of his active army. Hulk just lost 50% of his active army, basically. And that is not a good trade for Hulk to make. Tripods moving forward. Pennywise hoping to do the damage that Hulk couldn't. He doesn't actually get the kill. He's just trading out tripods for nothing right now. He's going to be going for the harvester. He's going to be going for the disruption tower. He denies the stealth field finally, and he realizes there are 4 mammoth tanks under that cloak. 4 mammoth tanks, and actually they're still hidden by another disruption tower. The tier 2 goes down. Command post eliminated. All of the upgrades have already been purchased, but at least the command hub is down. Doesn't quite reset the tech tree of Phoenix. Phoenix drawing this one out. And finally that husk does go down, but it gives the rocket squads time to re-engage. The Redeemer as well. The EMP lands, but it'll be the phase. The phase may allow some of these units to escape. Is he going to chase? Phoenix might just chase these units all the way back to their base. Tripods should be able to burst down at least one of these mammoth tanks. They get the second one as well. No EMPs here in the south, and Awaken might be able to land a monster EMP. Gets only 2 of the tripods. One of them goes down, and then the other one as well. The Juggernaut's doing massive damage, and that was a heroic mammoth tank just holding its own. And now the hammerheads show up at the last possible second. The zone troopers get a couple of shots there, and though that phase on the tripod allowed them to make it all the way back home. So many husks on the ground, 3 of them tripods, 1 of them juggernauts. Are any engineers going to be sent out to capture them? At least not for now. It would be worth Phoenix retaking those husks. Deploy a barracks there and guard the husks with a hammerhead until the engineers arrive. Redeemer steps forward, Rage Gen fires off, and these units were not ready for it. They weren't focus fired on the ground or anything, and the Harvester does survive, but the tripods do not. The shields on the other tripod do break. One of these tripods very low on health. As soon as the shields break, so does the tripod, as this little group of units is not enough to actually stand up against the firepower of Phoenix's mammoth tanks and Redeemer as they step on forward, crushing the remaining Harvesters, and that is going to be it for Hulk in the north. He taps out of the game. Only Pennywise remains. It's a 1v1. Phoenix steps forward, airlifts engineers, takes over these tripods, needs to be careful that he doesn't accidentally crush those husks. He gets all three of them tripods back in action, but this time for Team Blue. And that means that actually Phoenix has touched every faction's tech tree, at least a little bit here, as he has full control over Mark of Kane and GDI. And now he's got a couple of Skrin tripods under his control. He's actually going to send them back home for repairs. He's not even going to immediately attack with them, as Pennywise doesn't have much going on anywhere on the map. Oh, I just realized Pennywise has 31 grand in the bank. Why did he never rebuild an MCV? Pennywise just went AFK. I just now am realizing that Pennywise has essentially gone absent. Is he literally AFK? He has nothing building. He had 100 years of time to rebuild his MCV, but he didn't actually do it. Yeah, he's just doing quite literally nothing as he waits for Phoenix to show up and just kill him. Yeah, his tripod just literally sitting there, didn't ever move to, get away from the army, didn't move to engage the army, just sat there and waited for the army to show up. Railgun's gonna burn through this base very easy. MCV deploys a refinery. Phoenix still thinks this is a real game, but he's playing against an empty shell on the other side. And they might be typing to each other in chat. Pennywise isn't even going to leave the game. He is actually going to wait until every building goes down. Did everyone leave the game? Pennywise just went to the bathroom, and Hulk at least left the game, but Pennywise just is waiting for the game to end. And, well, there we go. That's the end of that. Phoenix holds the 2v2. But the kill of that MCV was actually the kill of Team Green. I just didn't realize that they were not doing anything. Literally still in the game, but not functionally still in the game, as Pennywise just gives up. And Phoenix, UnderworldFox, able to get the win there in that 2v2. That will do it for that game. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert signing out.